Good evening, and I can't tell you what a great pleasure it is to welcome you to the Great Hall for tonight's 16th Annual Presidential Awards Gala. Every time I walk into this hall in this building, it never ceases to just awe me. This is a beautiful place. This is going to be a beautiful evening tonight. I notice you're pretty far back, so I feel safe. Nobody's going to run the stage. We're going to be okay. Security good? Okay. Too soon? Oh. My name is Chris Cimino, and I'm a proud 1983 graduate of CCNY. Thank you. My time here really truly helped me prepare for my future in radio and television broadcasting in the number one market in the country, my home, and the home of City College, New York City. Now for me, upon high school graduation, my parents couldn't afford to send me to a private school or a state college. My options basically were in the CUNY system. Now, having known since childhood, actually second grade, my desire to be a meteorologist came after experiencing the infamous Lindsay snowstorm of 1969. Some of you might remember that. You can fess up if you do. But it was that storm that then inspired me to pursue it. And the school that offered meteorology out of all the colleges in the CUNY system was City College. Now, having not ventured very far from my home in Queens in the Brooklyn area at that point in my life, committing to taking the A train into Harlem in the late 70s and early 80s was a little bit intimidating, to say the least. In addition to the fact that the A train, if it went local, from Ozone Park, it was Boyd Avenue, was the name of the station, to 145th Street, it could be a 2-hour commute just to get to City College. So those days have fortunately changed, I think, although the trains, I'm sure, still break down from time to time. That being said, it did add to the life experience that I gained from my City College days. Upon entering the campus and then walking through that arch and entering the amazing Shepherd Hall as well as Townsend Harris, across the way, I remembered feeling like, wow, I was now in a part of true original place of higher learning. The next very important thing I also remembered was the student body. It was a united nations of determined young men and women looking to make their lives better and lend to futures of great opportunity. This is as evident today, if not more so, as we look upon the promising, brilliant students who are now want to be part of this City College experience. Finally, most importantly, some would say, of course, that the wonderful education that I received from the esteemed faculty at CCNY was the most important. And I had some really, truly great science educators like Professor Jerome Spar, who was one of the originators of one of the first computer models for weather that was ever devised. Professor Romer, he was an oceanographer. He took us out into the Hudson. We did some core sampling. Back then, what you came up with wasn't something you put it right back in because you didn't want to keep it. Physics professor Harold Stolov, who to this day is probably the reason I graduated in 4 years and not 5, because those physics courses were tough. And he guided me through some of the most difficult ones at that. And he had a very special manner about him. He often referred to himself as Father. And I could still hear him saying, "If you have a problem, don't worry. Father will help you." At first we thought, that's a little, but he truly was fatherly and really did help us get through some really, really tough physics. And one of my true favorite professors was the one and only brilliant and multi-talented Stanley Getzelman. Now, Stan, I'll never forget, I was on the elevator one day in the science building, and I indicated to him that I was thinking of pursuing a broadcast meteorology career. And he said to me straight-faced, "Well, you've got a great face for radio, Chris." I didn't laugh that hard. But all of these professors and fellow students from diverse backgrounds also helped me get prepared for the dream that came true, a career of being a TV meteorologist in New York City for over 25 years. And I truly believe none of that would have happened if it wasn't for the education I received in all facets of life from the City College of New York. And finally, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my friend Donald Jordan, who led the Alumni Association for many years, who passed away a few years ago. And Don was really the one that sort of brought me back to the fold and I know was directly responsible for my receiving two of my life's truly greatest honors. And I've had a couple of those Emmy things, but the Townsend Harris Medal and the Finley Award, and I really could never thank him and City College enough for that, so I really do appreciate that. So tonight is a very special night, important night. It's the 175th anniversary of the City College, my alma mater, as we know, and we come together to share wonderful memories, get a peek ahead at what's in store for the college's future, and to celebrate the achievements of tonight's honorees. Our honorees tonight represent success in a variety of ways, not just in the traditional sense that we use as a way to define greatness in business, but success is a measure of how much we can, as individuals, contribute to society and to the future of our shared world. We're grateful to Seymour C., class of 1954, and Pearl Moskowitz, Dr. Arden Warner, class of 1990, the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce, and Patagonia for their support for tonight's gala as well. And tonight we celebrate in this beautiful and historic space, the Great Hall of Shepherd Hall. I don't know if any of you know, but it's one of the first buildings constructed explicitly for public higher education in the United States. That's a tremendous testament to the vision that Townsend Harris had as he embarked on the great experiment of serving the whole people. We have a wonderful night in store. It's my pleasure at this point to invite Dr. Vince Boudreau, the 13th president of the City College of New York, to join me up here on the stage. Dr. Boudreau.
I have a speech box that General Powell gave me when I became president. He has a card in it that says, no more stapled pages. Count the pages down one by one so they know when you're done. It unfortunately doesn't fit on this podium, though. Well, listen, welcome to the Great Hall of City College to celebrate our 175th anniversary. And before I start, let me just make a few acknowledgments. First of all, Chris Cimino, thank you, Chris, for hosting tonight. I'll admit that I may sleep in tomorrow. Some of you may sleep in tomorrow. Chris has got to do the weather. So we are doubly, triply grateful, both for this day and for your sacrifice of sleep. Congressman Charles Rangel is here. He was here in this same space on April 14th when we launched the Charles B. Rangel Infrastructure Workforce Development Initiative. You should know he came to this event tonight leaving the Schaumburg Center at an event that was organized in his honor. So we are so glad that you are here with us tonight, sir. We're also joined by some of my amazing colleagues in CUNY, presidents of sister institutions, Eduardo Capulong, who is the interim dean of our School of Law, Dr. Patricia Ramsey, the president of Medgar Evers College, Dr. Thomas Isikanegbe, who is the president of the Bronx Community College, and my good friend, my old colleague and dear friend, Dr. Vanessa Valdez, the interim dean of the Macaulay School of Honors. We have a couple other special City College friends in the audience. We are honored to have Judd Hirsch with us, City College alum, and also current City College student. His real name is Kevin Brown. You may know him as .com. He is a current City College student, and we will be seeing more of Mr. Hirsch and .com a little bit later in today's program. Want to thank and welcome Gala co-chairs Martin Cohen, who is also the president of our foundation and a great and true friend of this institution. We have ambassador sponsors Lev Svirdov, who could not be with us tonight. He is fighting his co-op board and couldn't, as a true graduate of City College, would not miss a fight even for a gala. Gary Kalnick is here. He is the president of the Alumni Association, and we have 2 tables of officers in our Alumni Association, and we are blessed to have you with us today. We have a number of boards that help and support the college, and I want to just acknowledge those boards. First of all, across the audience, there are members of the Foundation for City College Board, and they do heroic work to support the college. Just give a wave if you're on one of the Foundation Board. I have also been deeply assisted by a board that was formed when I first came into this office, the President's Executive Advisory Board, chaired by my good friend Lloyd Williams. And if you're a member of the Executive Advisory Board, could you please wave a hand? There are other boards with us. We are joined by members of the board of the Colin Powell School for Civic and Global Leadership. Hands up in the air if you're on their board. Members of the board of the Grove School of Engineering. We are honored to have Mr. Jim Sturgio with us today. He is the class reunion chair, and you'll hear from him later tonight as well. Jim, tell us where you are. There he is. And of course, we have 2 tables from our great friends at the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce. Make some noise, Harlem. There you go. We unfortunately do not have the presence of one of our ambassador sponsors tonight, Mr. Cy Sternberg, but he sends his regrets and is a great supporter of this night. And finally, I want to say that we have 2 other groups here. I am served every day by a group of talented men and women who comprise my cabinet. They're sprinkled through the audience. Show the people where you are, cabinet. And finally, the members of the Office of Institutional Advancement and Communications have worked to put this event together. I will not be up here at the end of the evening to thank them, so let me just ask them to raise a hand and be acknowledged. Now, it is possible that I have missed someone, but I understand from my friends that if you say a few magic words, protocol having been observed, you will be forgiven for missing anyone else in the audience. So, ladies and gentlemen, protocol having been observed, we will proceed. I know I'm mainly reminding most of you, and some of you have heard this 100 times from me, but you are now seated in the sacred center of City College of New York, the physical and architectural embodiment of the aspirations that we have for our students. 175 years ago this Saturday, when the Free Academy's founders set out to charter a college, they did so with a clear commitment to a mission: to provide for a more stable, more democratic society through the path of educational opportunity for the whole people. That phrase, the whole people, is one that I think about a lot, and I use it frequently. It's a rhetorical artifact of our founding ceremonies. It was uttered by our first president, President Webster, to call us to the stewardship of the dreams and the future of everyone in our society, but most particularly to the futures and dreams of those who are overlooked by status quo institutions. Today, we celebrate the opportunity we have to educate the whole people, primarily because we now so desperately need the talents and vision and creativity called in the task of resurrecting our society and our people in the aftermath of the pandemic and to meet the challenges that lay before us still. This institution, this City College, I think more and more was made exactly and precisely for this moment, was designed explicitly to prepare the talents of the whole people for when we need them most in moments like this. The college was a precarious undertaking, even at its beginning. In its second year, some of the elites of the city almost voted to defund the free academy, thinking that it was too expensive or its goals were too outlandish to merit support. But the dream of educational opportunity persisted and remains vital to this day. So now, today, we find ourselves in the upper echelons of colleges producing social mobility at a time when social mobility barely exists anyplace else in our society. We are sometimes number one, we're sometimes in the top 10, but we're always there as one of the leading institutions in social mobility, and we're never there alone. We're always there with 5, 6, 7 other CUNY colleges working and inspired by the same founding vision that motivates us tonight. We were recently named by the Wall Street Journal the #1 best value college in the nation, and every year we contribute $1.9 billion to the economy of the counties closest to the college. And we know that generation upon generation, decade after decade, the men and women who come to this college to be educated change by that act the whole future of their families, providing for those who will follow them the expectation of an educated life, a life at the center of society rather than at its margins. I wish they were here with us today. I do. Townsend Harris, General Webb, President Webster, President Finley. What a joy it would be to show them what we have made of their dream. We are today the living embodiment of the greatest, fondest expectations they could have had, an almost impossible elaboration of their wildest dreams. And it's our happy task and grave responsibility to keep those dreams moving forward, to steward them as they did, preserving the essence of their founding mission, but also evolving that mission to meet new challenges and new opportunities. So if you will, allow me briefly to talk about what is in store for City College in the next few years. First, we will renew our efforts to identify the greatest challenges that face our people and to direct our research initiatives towards meeting those challenges. We have tremendous assets in climate and energy science, in material science and nanotechnology. It approaches to meet the medical needs of underserved communities and to meet the educational needs of, and here's that phrase again, the whole people. In our architecture school, our faculty think every day about how to make the built environment more receptive and democratic and open to the whole people. And in our departments of humanities and arts, we curate the history and philosophy and literature and music and art of the people who come to this city and the places they come here from. So what does this mean? Well, in part, it means building an entrepreneurial and commercialization enterprise, a capacity that we've been building over the last 5 years and will continue to expand. In part, it means embracing our general social mobility mission in each of our disciplinary manifestations so that as a community of scholars, we are identifying and attacking all the barriers to social mobility that exist in our society. We'll do that by tuning the way we research and talk and teach to the needs of eradicating those barriers. Even now in the different departments and divisions of our schools, we are developing vision statements that will focus the energies and work of our faculty towards those goals. In pursuing these objectives, we will not only contribute social mobility in the lives of the young men and women who graduate from our institution, we will set the entire institution against social inequities of all kinds. Second, we will refine and enhance our emphasis on leadership development and social justice among our students. Now, this is work that pervades every aspect of our campus, but it has a home base in the Colin Powell School for Civic and Global Leadership. In that school, students from around the campus participate in programs that develop their leadership capacity and call them to lives of service. They can join programs preparing them to expand the democratic space or to develop policies that take on the existential threat of climate change or take on racial justice head-on. As the Colin Powell School expands its programs, as it will in the recently inaugurated Institute for Democracy and Social Justice, the college itself will extend and deepen its expertise in the activity designed to bring our sense of social justice to the world, with the explicit understanding that social justice must be implicit in everything we do as a campus. Third, we have made and will continue to make a focused effort to link the work of our college to the life of our community, making our resources available to neighbors and partners in Harlem, in the South Bronx, and northern Manhattan, and beyond. We are a public institution, and so we must embrace a public that lies beyond our student body, and in that embrace, make the resources of the institutions available broadly. Showing this to our students, our call to service, will engage them in their social responsibility, a social responsibility they must take on because of their ties to CCNY. Finally, we will continue our fidelity to the underlying mission of the college, the education of the whole people, relentlessly searching for ways to increase our students' success and to support them in their need. We will recruit our students from the ranks of new Americans, from underserved communities in our city, from families who believe that a college education is beyond the grasp of their sons and daughters. Now, our honorees tonight reflect this direction. Yvon Chouinard, the founder of Patagonia, in his commitment to environmental stewardship, has spurred us to ensure that our environmental expertise informs practice outside this campus. Seymour Moskowitz is the living embodiment of the powerful transformational effect of education on this campus, and with his spouse, Pearl, has made a pioneering investment in our efforts to commercialize our life sciences. The Harlem Chamber of Commerce, in its warm and wonderful embrace of the college, sets a daily example for leadership in the field of social justice. Arden Warner, renowned physicist and CCNY graduate, has developed a magnetic process for helping to clean up oil spills, but in so doing reminds us that the work that we do in the laboratories must find expression against the needs of our planet. And you will, of course, be hearing more from these honorees later in today's program. But I am grateful and honored that they, or in some cases their designees, are here with us tonight. From 1866 until 1929, that is, after the period when we were known as the Free Academy, but before we became the City College of New York, we had a third name. We were called the College of the City of New York. And the program that I just outlined for you embraces the spirit of that third name, which I take to mean this, that the city then and now required a college to serve the needs of the city. The future that we plan today embraces the spirit of that name. Our college is a place where New York City is made and remade class upon class, generation after generation, student after student, and all of them together. Our students come to us as individual applicants to City College, but they leave every graduation as a transformative social phenomenon. And it is on that sense of ourselves that we've built this program for the college. In the months after I took on the presidency of CCNY, I came fully to recognize the challenges that we faced. And some of those challenges were local, City College-specific challenges, but the overwhelming weight of challenge was a national phenomenon. I spoke at our very first gala in this great hall about the fact that in virtually every state in the Union, governments are withdrawing from the responsibility of supporting public institutions of higher education. I pledged then to embark on a process, a journey to insulate this college from those trends and to develop the resources in our foundation to do more than provide scholarships to our students, as important and transformative as those scholarships may be, but rather to provide operational resources to support the educational excellence of those who come to this place, so that whatever the vagaries of state funding might be, the City College of tomorrow would be strong, would survive, would thrive. I said then that if we worked together, if we were unflinching in our aspirations for this place, we could do great things together, and so we shall. We developed at that time a strategic plan that started with an effort to fix what we found to be broken, to more professionally steward our resources, to merge our two separate foundations into one new and powerful entity, the Foundation for City College, to more clearly tell the story of the college in all its facets, to deepen our connections with our friends and community partners, and to build stronger relations with business and industry, to more fully embrace our alumni, but above all, to be relentlessly ambitious in what we imagined City College could be. We set out, in short, to position ourselves for the great work ahead of us. Even then, 6 years ago, that plan anticipated this very night, our 175th anniversary, in the month of May 2022, at this gala, in this room. On that day, we said, on this day, I say, we are launching the campaign for the future of City College. It is a campaign to $1 billion, building on the resources we currently have under the management of our foundation, to a final number that will secure the future of this institution, or at least secure it until some future generation, spurred on by new visions and new ambitions, picks up the torch and carries it forward. And so this is our launch. As of this moment, this college is in campaign mode. On this campus, we have prepared ourselves to do something that we've never done before, not to ask how many resources we think we can garner, but rather to ask and to set our sights on raising the resources necessary to ensure the future of this institution. My friends, you are all here because in some way you've expressed a commitment to City College. It may be that you are a direct beneficiary of the college's education. Maybe you see in our mission of social justice and educational opportunity and social mobility a reflection of your own values. Or maybe, like me, you can't imagine the city of New York as it is currently constituted had there been know City College. And so I'm confident in asking you that when you leave this room, you become ambassadors and evangelists in the service of this cause, that you join me in the campaign for City College. I know you will do it. 175 years is a very long time, and it is the blink of an eye. Let us together ensure that when our time in this place is commemorated on the college's 200th anniversary, or a century hence, the people who gather in this sacred space then will pick up the challenge that we've laid down tonight and fashion in their own way, responsive to their own challenges and their own vision and their own opportunities, a mission for the future spurred on by the remarkable work that we will do together in the years to come. Ladies and gentlemen, we have launched the campaign for City College. I am so grateful for your presence in this room. I am so personally grateful for the support you have given this college. Thank you. Thank you, one and all. It's comfortable after a speech to leave the stage, but I have one more responsibility before I go, and that is this. We have, to commemorate our 175th anniversary, put together a film by our great friend, the talented Mr. John Janitis, a filmmaker who does all of our films. And it is my great pleasure to direct your attention to the two screens in the front of the room. Roll the
Welcome to the 175th anniversary of CCNY. As it was known to me when I, Judd Hirsch, a kid from the New York City public schools, first attended in the 1950s. Today, we're embarking on a journey I like to call masterpiece theatrics. Looking back, looking ahead. Our story is one based on the longevity and truly impressive vision of this institution, the City College of New York. After all, City College is my alma mater, class of 1960. Amongst many other achievements, we celebrate this institution's 175 years of tireless determination and dedication to the advancement of research and knowledge. From the polio vaccine, to the Panama Canal, to the invention of the internet, to astronauts.
Houston, we have a problem.
Supreme Court justices, secretaries of state, and award-winning actors. As we peruse the storied history of the first free academy, we unleash the character, stature, and grand impact around the globe of our beloved City College of New York.
Well, in 1847, when the Free Academy, which would become City College, was founded, education wasn't for everyone. It was explicitly the birthright of the well-born, the well-financed, the politically connected. And for whatever reason, the founders of the Free Academy decided that there was so much talent in our city, in our nation, that needed to be developed, that they would try this experiment. And it didn't matter who your parents were. It didn't matter what your work had been. If you were smart and you were motivated and you were willing to work, there would be a place for you in the Free Academy, and there would be a place for you at City College. And that was revolutionary.
Thankfully, City College came through with flying colors. What made City College special was that it brought together children of laborers and children of the city's great names. And as the college grew and as it started to bring in more students, it became more and more like New York and more like America.
Isn't that wonderful? An institution which began mainly to provide children of immigrants and the poor access to free higher education based on academic merit alone. In 1847, well, that's a true belief in the concept that all men are created equal. While words set the scene, there is nothing that compares to visual theatrical recreations. With a little help from City College's very own theater department, which, unbeknownst to me, has been around for 21 years. This is History Retold. During an official ribbon-cutting ceremony marking the very start of the Free Academy, he proclaims this to be the first public institution of higher education in New York City and the first tuition-free college in the nation. And in that very moment, the Free Academy opened its doors to all. Yes, applause, applause, applause. William Hallett Green. The year is 1884, and the first African-American graduates from CCNY. The New York Times reported on the graduation. And he has made a good record. The audience applauded him liberally last night. And what do we have here? Oh, yes, this is 1930. And these lovely young ladies are the first ever admitted to graduate programs. Now, by 1951, the entire institution became coeducational. And because it allowed people of any race, creed, or religion to attend, it became known as the Harvard on the Hudson. This institution, opening to anyone and everyone with the proper academic merit, proved to be a huge success. To date, 10 CCNY graduates went on to win a prize of the utmost nobility, the Nobel Prize. These Nobel laureates include Dr. Julius Axelrod, CCNY class of 1933, awarded the Nobel Prize for Medicine in 1970. Oh, yes, Dr. Robert Aumann, class of 1950. Dr. Aumann won the Severius Riksbank Prize in Economic Sciences in memory of Alfred Nobel himself in 2005. Oh, and of course, our most recent laureate, Harlem-born neuroscientist Dr. John O'Keefe, CCNY class of 1963, only 3 years after me. He received the Nobel Prize for Medicine in 2014.
It's the quality of education that really counts here.
You look across the landscape of the country and you compare us to our Ivy League peers, and we're right there at the top of that list.
Former Secretary of State General Colin Powell, one of our marquee graduates. Musicians, founders of corporations, inventors of technology, all City College graduates. Jonas Salk, the man who invented the polio vaccine, City College graduate. Many, many people whose names are not household names except in the field that they worked in.
If you look at history and look at some of those great successful people, they were not born here, or their parents were not born here. They were the first generation.
CCNY, to me, embodied the American dream. My parents didn't have a formal education, and CCNY afforded me that opportunity.
While these outstanding alumni are the soul of CCNY, the collegiate Gothic campus itself houses the bones that bring it to life. A foundation as strong as the schist bedrock it's built upon, the Manhattanville location, erected in 1906, were among the first buildings in the entire United States to be built in this architectural style. Oh, lucky day, a campus tour is about to begin. So let's tag along, huh? Shall we?
please. How are you? So, my name is .com, and I will be your tour guide in today's orientation. Before we get started, let's get some school spirit. How about that? All right? You ready? When I say CC, y'all say NY. CC? NY. CC? NY. CC? NY. Nicely done, nicely done. So, this is the City College of New York, and this is your campus. Take a look around. Right now, you're standing smack in the middle of the quadrangle, housing the original 4 main buildings of the campus: Baskerville Hall, Compton Hall, Wingate Hall, and Harris Hall. These 4 buildings, along with Shepherd Hall behind me, opened their doors in 1906. Okay, let's continue on. Follow me. This is Alexander Webb. He was the president of City College for 13 years. This sword was stolen 2 times from this very spot. I heard a Columbia student stole it last. Is that true? I'm just messing with you. Let's go check out our most famous building, Shepherd Hall.
Hey, that's a cool gargoyle.
What? Freshman, that is not a gargoyle. That is a grotesque.
What's the difference?
I thought you'd never ask. Grotesque, taken from the Italian word grottesca, are a style of decorative art characterized by anything bizarre, absurd, or ugly. Like the stone carvings you'll see all over campus. There are literally thousands of them. While they look similar, gargoyles have spouts that throw rainwater off the buildings. While taken from the French word gargouille, it's also the sound made as water runs through it. It sounds like someone gargling. Hence, gargoyle. Those are gargoyles. Let's go inside Shepherd Hall. Now, freshmen, come with me. This is our most prized location on campus, the Great Hall. Look around. The flags were gifted by the great institutions around the world when Shepherd Hall was built. Each stained glass window was gifted by a great American university at the time, all to welcome CCNY into the family of education. The pipe organ, the vaulted ceilings, the long pillars, all grand symbols of the greatness and importance. But the set piece of this entire room is the mural right behind me, an original created just for CCNY called The Graduate. A student receiving his diploma from alma mater, surrounded by some of the world's greatest achievers: Beethoven, Shakespeare, Aristotle, and Socrates. A symbol to all that education is not for a select group, but for the people as a whole. For 175 years, people have been coming to this institution of all races, religions, nationalities, and backgrounds. And they have gone on to change the world, just like you will. Wait, is it 1:45? Oh, I'm late for my final in my social inequality hip-hop class. Good luck, everybody.
Wait, he's a student here?
Remember, when I say CC, y'all say NY. CC?
NY.
CC?
NY.
See you later, students.
If you invest in the whole people, you will make them better, stronger, more prosperous. You will develop an engine for economic development and prosperity that's reflected in our economic impact.
We're launching this year a campaign to bring our foundation up to $1 billion. And that's due in large part to the push we've had from our alumni.
For the last 5 years of my administration, we have identified the problems that need to be solved in our development operation. We have merged our two foundations together, so we now have one powerful foundation apparatus. And we've been building a vision for the college that's based on fidelity with our history and a vision for the future.
And so as we imagine ourselves in the future, we imagine ourselves as being fiscally stable for future generations of the college.
I had the fortune of having a tuition-free education. Holy mackerel, think about that, a tuition-free education. I want to continue to give CCNY whatever support I can give so that it can perpetuate its mission going forward.
My aspiration for City College is to continue to be a beacon of higher education in this city. And the foundation that supports City College is an important element, and it's our goal to ensure that that success continues into the future.
It's something that we haven't done before in this scale, but it's something that we're totally prepared for.
And the whole time we were looking at the 175th anniversary, we were saying if we can fix our machinery and prepare the campus and strengthen our vision for this moment when we look back and commemorate our founding, this would be the moment to launch the campaign.
The time has now come for Lavender Letters, a chance for us alumni to show our gratitude to the institution which has given us so much. While these letters come from a few, their stories represent the masses of City College students and alumni that have overcome incredible challenges in pursuit of higher education.
My journey to City College started with moments of questioning who I was, where I was currently, and where I truly wanted to go in this world and in this life.
My parents and grandparents have lived through a few decades of not being allowed to leave East Germany. Their legacy always inspired me to see the world and live abroad. So I decided to attend the Colin Powell School for Civic and Global Leadership.
As an immigrant and first-generation college student, I came to City College with many uncertainties. It was a new world that I had to navigate.
I could spend days talking about all the experiences I have had and how those have impacted, changed, and bettered me. But I will only simply say that when I think of CCNY, I feel pride.
After countless searches, CCNY became my home in the Masters of Professional Studies in Branding and Integrated Communications program.
I am proud of CCNY's history, of how it has shaped and helped thousands of people just like me.
I believe that the American dream is well and alive, and it turned into a reality for me here at City College.
There's nothing more exciting than seeing a student succeed no matter what the obstacles, because I was in that position.
Today, as a current CCNY employee, I seek to contribute in my capacity and scope to this wonderful community that I'm happy to call family.
And you know, this would be my own lavender letter. Thank you, CCNY, and my professor who introduced me to Robert Frost stopping by woods on a snowy evening. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. Fill up with snow. He said to us, "What is the sound of fill up with snow?" And the answer was, the sound of the snow falling on the man. When I heard that, I wanted to say it to an audience. So I became an actor. Thank you, CCNY.
"175 years is nothing to laugh at. This is a big milestone. We are celebrating not just a birthday, we're celebrating the birth of change. And I'm really grateful to be here. And I'm looking forward to the next decades of work together.
I shall never forget CCNY, and I will always have a soft spot in my heart for it. And I want to be the shoulders on which future generations stand. and help them achieve their dreams as well.
Thank you, City College. You have helped me succeed professionally and in life. I'm forever grateful.
And on this 175th anniversary, my pledge to the students, our current students and our future students, is that the City College of today and the City College of tomorrow will live up to its history. We will continue to be the engine of social mobility that we have always been. And so when you come to this institution, we will make sure that you join the social phenomenon that is the generations of City College graduates. Congratulations, City College, on 175 good years.
What a joy it's been to lead you through this journey. Looking back at 175 years of greatness that has changed our world, and looking ahead to the future potential we will continue to see rise from the halls of the castle on the hill, the City College of New York. Remember, while we understand our life through history and celebrate our accomplishments in hindsight, our lives must move forward from this moment on.
Wow. I want to thank Judd Hirsch and everybody that had a part in putting that together. That was fantastic. Very inspiring. All right, friends, tonight as you look around the hall, built with all of us in mind, take special note of the details that are carried throughout this room. Stained glass represents the American colleges and universities that were established at the time of our inauguration. And the flags that you see above are representative of the original flags gifted to the college by the international universities who welcomed the college into its rightful place as a center of learning. Now it is my great pleasure to introduce tonight's first honoree, Dr. Arden Warner. Dr. Warner, a proud CCNY class of 1990 graduate with a BS in physics, is the founding partner of Natural Science, LLC, and he invented the concept of using electromagnetic forces to remediate oil spills and pollution, which has introduced a new paradigm to natural environmental remediation. Dr. Warner is also a senior accelerator physicist and engineer at Fermi National Accelerator Laboratory. Show off. He is also, though, the recipient of the 2020 Division of Science Distinguished Alumni Award. He received his PhD in accelerator physics from SUNY Stony Brook and is the recipient of the 2016 Barbados Golden Jubilee Award for Innovation and Technology. We present the President's Leadership Award to Dr. Arden Warner, class of 1990, in recognition of your contributions to environmental conservation and people-centered science.
Well, good evening. It's a heavy award. Thank you so much. I want to say that this is an absolute honor. City College represents to me my beacon on the hill, and it has guided me and set a basis for everything I try to do. I came to City College, leaving Barbados, a small island, to come to the United States to do big science. And City College set the foundation. When I came here, I was worried, scared about how do you come to this country and achieve an education. It seemed costly. It seemed that it wouldn't be affordable. But then there was City College, a place that had thought about this for people like me. So in coming here, the first thing that I noticed in taking courses in this great hall here, in this great facility, is that the teachers, the people who were training me, were experts in their field. They were top-notch, not just here at the university, but worldwide. A math professor I had here, Dr. Michael Ember, sat with me through exam and classes and pushed me and guided me. And he taught mathematics to me at a level that I never thought I would reach. I learned from that experience that I would never be a mathematician. And I turned to the thing I really came for, which is physics. And Mike Ember pointed out to me that, Arden, you will make mistakes. These mistakes are the things that will guide you. They will set the scale of the problems that you decide to solve. Big mistakes you'll make. The small ones you make daily. The big ones are the decisions that you make, and then you realize that there were better options. He said, don't let that deter you. He pointed me towards the laboratories here and towards research. And I want to say that CCNY was a place where I never thought I would get involved in research at such an early stage. I was given the keys to a laboratory here with a laser to do physics in my first years here. And it was exciting. And I want to thank the university. And my goal, and I'm so happy that you reached out to me and offered me this award, because my goal going forward is to try to contribute as much as I can to the student body and to the college, and to help the university, the college, and the system achieve that goal that was set forward by the president. So thank you so much for the award and for honoring me. And I can't express in any simpler words how much this college has meant to me, other than to say it has guided me and it's the foundation that I stand on. Thank you much.
One more time for Dr. Warner. Our next recipient, Yvonne Chouinard, is an itinerant adventurer, a passionate activist, iconoclastic businessman. In 1973, he founded Patagonia, a mission-driven company known for its environmental and social initiatives. Chouinard is a surfer, mountain climber, gardener, falconer, and is particularly fond of tenkara fly fishing. Anybody want to tell me what that is? I'm not sure. No, real. Another show-off. All right. Chouinard has written several books and is the executive producer of 3 documentary films. Chouinard co-founded the Fair Labor Association, 1% for the Planet, the Textile Exchange, the Conservation Alliance, and the Sustainable Apparel Coalition. On the first day he was legally able to do so, Yvonne personally filed the paperwork in Sacramento, California for the company to become a benefit corporation. Let's welcome Vincent Stanley, a co-author with Yvonne, Patagonia's longtime chief storyteller, and the company's director of Patagonia Philosophy, to accept this award on Yvonne's behalf. This is the President Leadership Award, being presented to Yvonne Chouinard in recognition of your environmental activism, sustainability, and responsible practices.
Are we in the right place? Should we move over there? Yeah, let's go over here. Little improv.
Thank you so much on behalf of Yvonne and the family and all of Patagonia for this honor. And congratulations on your 175th anniversary. And one of the things that I've heard over and over tonight, but also that I've known, I'm vocationally a writer, and so certainly I've known how much the cultural and intellectual life of this country has been influenced by this single school. And primarily for its ability to provide a place and a home for people who otherwise would not have gone to school, would not have gone to college. Yvon Chouinard is one of those people. He was born in a mill town, in French-speaking mill town near Lewiston, Maine. And the family moved not to New York to make its fortune, but to California, sold everything, sold their house and their possessions, loaded the mattresses on top of the Chrysler, put $5,000 of the life savings in a jar, and drove across the country. Yvon, in fact, did not really go to college. He went to LA Valley College, where he says he majored in auto mechanics. But that, for him, was an opportunity because it taught him the skills, the shop skills that he needed when he became a designer of mountain climbing equipment and then outdoor clothing. It's important, I think, to recognize both about Yvon and about the company that those early sports of surfing and climbing in the 1950s were done by a lot of people who didn't have a lot of opportunities. They did not come from families that took them to ski lodges in the winter. They were sleeping outdoors 200 nights a year, working very basic jobs to support themselves, and creating a particularly American culture of self-reliant sports, not dependent on any kind of money and not dependent on any kind of fossil fuels to move people around. There is one of the things that, well, I came to work at the company when I was 20 years old, so that was 50 years ago. I was a writer. I was not a climber or a surfer. But the thing that struck me most about this culture that later became Patagonia was its independence, its authenticity, in a way it's anti-authoritarianism, but also the love that these people had for the wild places they went to exercise their sports. They all had this strong desire to protect those places. I think it's very difficult to understand why you would want to keep a place uninhabited or to keep a place that you can absolutely feel awe in and feel at once self-reliant and also extraordinarily vulnerable. But that really influenced our company, that desire to protect those places. That led, over time, to us as a company, as we became larger, to not only give money to environmental causes, give 1% of sales, but also to start to question our own activities as a company. We knew that the natural world was declining. And this is something that people who, mountain climbers who go back to a climb and see that the glacier has receded, something field scientists knew intimately, going back to the places where they worked and the loss of animals. It's something commercial fishermen know. When got a boat in Gloucester and you have to go out 2 days to find the fish that used to take 1 day to find. But what happened to us is when we started to examine the supply chain, to examine our own behavior, the impact of our work to create clothing, the more we discovered, the more we understood that we were taking back from nature more than we could repay. And that has led, over time, I think, to a realization that the environmental crisis, which we first started to talk about in 1989, the environmental crisis that started out as episodic has really become chronic. It's become serious. And a couple of years ago, we adopted a new mission statement. It says we're in business to save our home planet. And that mission statement sounds as aspirational to me as it must to you. But one of the things I've seen is our employees, high and low on the ladder, take that to heart, to really change the work they do, to ask themselves, okay, what does this mean to save our home planet for my work, for the products I create, for the work of my team? You know, about 3 years ago, we had a major fire in Southern California that ranged 50 miles across the crests of the mountains and threatened the existence of several cities. 75% of our employees were displaced by fire or smoke. We were running it in wartime conditions. The accounting department would gather in someone's kitchen for 2 days to get the work done and then have to move to someone else's kitchen because the smoke had come in or the flames were close. And I know that City College went through the same thing, not with fire, but with water, with Hurricane Ida. And you saw what happened with the community, with water geysering out of the subways and with people losing their lives tragically in basement apartments. And the City College responded to that. The City College has also, I think is kind of sweet, has made a strong association with the Appalachian Mountaineering Club, which enables city students to experience what my colleagues experienced long ago at Patagonia with the awe of the mountains. And also looking very seriously at climate and material science, because that is where the big changes will come. That is where the saving the planet will start. I think that I want to say very briefly that the environmental crisis, the Pope in his encyclical in 2015 said that the environmental and social crises look different, but they're not. They're the same crisis with two faces, and their causes are deeply entwined at their roots. And the solution of one will not come without the solution of the other. I think this is something that City College recognizes, and it's something that Patagonia has begun to recognize as well. And I would add to education being for the whole people, that we must also be a part of nature and prepare ourselves to help save or let nature save the whole planet. Thank you. I'm not used to putting on masks in public.
Okay, we're going to take a little bit of a break, and during dinner we will hear some beautiful sounds and a performance by violinist John Randolph. So immediately following dinner, we're going to hear 2 lavender letters as well, love letters to CCNY from 2 alumni. So take a little time, enjoy your dinner and some conversation amongst yourselves, and we'll be rejoining in a little bit.
As Mel Allen used to say, hello there, everybody. I am so proud and so happy to be part of this program, and I'm so proud and so happy to be an alumnus of City College of New York. CCNY represents the American dream, not only in my generation, but to the current generation and the future generations to come. My parents came to this country over 80 years ago as Greek immigrants, and they didn't have anything, in their pocket. But my mother was a seamstress, worked hard. My dad was in the boiler room, worked in the boiler rooms on ships. And their dream was always to give me a good education and send me to college. The first person ever in my family to get to college. And here I am. This room has a lot of memories for me, especially during registration days when we all hustled around trying to get our classes at certain times and at certain locations, and it was very, very difficult. But listen, the time is getting late, but the dreams and aspirations that I had, my parents had, are the same dreams and aspirations that the kids have now, and the same dreams and aspirations that kids in the future will have. So it's very, very, very important that we keep CCNY alive, thriving, and available to serve future generations of kids. When I won the presidential award back in 2014, I ended up with 3 recommendations or 3 things that I wanted the audience to remember. Number 1, always remember where you came from. Not a lot of us were born with silver spoons in our mouths. A lot of us were first generation in college. A lot of us represented the American dream of our parents, and in the hope that their kids would get a good education and do something for themselves and do something for the community. So my first advice to the kids was always remember where you came from. The second piece of advice is always honor those who helped you on the way up. Of course, this includes your parents, your siblings and family, but it also includes your teachers, your friends, your extended family, and your schools. And CCNY epitomized the American dream and epitomized the help and the assistance that I was given and that countless others were given throughout our lifetime. And the third thing might be the most important. We, to coin an old phrase, we stood on the shoulders of those who preceded us. Now it's our shoulders turn, and we have to make sure, as Vince said, that CCNY continues to provide a great, great education, a great, great opportunity for future generations of kids. So when we go to the 200th anniversary, the 250th, the 350th anniversary, it'll still be the beacon of hope. It'll still represent the American dream for the kids of those generations. So that's what I hope. So when you, the third thing that I want to point out is when you get to the point where you get success, always try to give back. Remember where you came from. Honor those who helped you on the way up, and always give back, and always love your college. Thank you all for coming. It was my honor to serve as chair of this, and God bless you, and God bless the City College of New York.
Thank you, Jim. At this time, please welcome our Lavender Letter readers who will read their love letters to CCNY. Aisha Mia, class of 2019, and Akasha Solis, class of 2016 and 2022.
Good evening and peace be upon you. My name is Aisha. I graduated in 2019 with bachelor's in international studies and political science. When I was writing this letter, when I was asked to write this letter, I knew exactly what I wanted to share. I often joke and say I came to City College because of this very building, because it's my castle. As a 17 years old, walking up the hill, visiting City College for the first time, the first thing I noticed was the castle on the hill. I didn't know right away why I had this warm feeling or the butterflies in my stomach. But finally, after the struggles of climbing the hill, it was clear to me this is where I belong. The campus welcomed me with her open arms and became my second home. I was blown away by the diversity of students, professors, and opportunities. It was comforting to see more people like me with similar backgrounds and a passion to better themselves at this institution. I entered my freshman year wanting to become a doctor, which was my goal for as long as I could remember, because I thought that was the only way I can help people. But within the first semester, I learned that I wanted to help people different ways. And I found my self-confidence and challenged myself with the help with my mentors at City College, more specifically Colin Powell School and the SEEK program. It wasn't easy. I had some roller coaster rides, but each ride made me stronger, happier, and clear about what I wanted to do and the purpose of me being here. With each step I took toward my goal, my mentors and professors were there to guide me. I was able to have the best college experience imaginable by being part of students' organization, studying abroad in South Korea, being part of the 2-year Colin Powell Fellowship, where I met the late General Colin Powell, helped my international studies mentor and professor Jean Krasno with her UN research, meeting and interviewing the late UN Secretary General Kofi Annan and former UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. And not to mention being able to intern for Didi and President Boudreaux. I'm thankful. I'm thankful and lucky to still be here with my amazing team, working to do the very thing that matters the most to me, helping others, students like myself. These are some of the highlights at City College, but I can imagine if I continue, you wouldn't be able to leave the room tonight. So thank you, City College, for being there for me, where I got to discover myself, spread my wings, and become the best version of myself. Thank you for introducing me to some of my most beloved friends, colleagues, and mentors who are part of my family. Thank you for your diversity, opportunities, love, care, and hard work for your students. I'm beyond blessed to have had the college experience that I had because of you. I'm proud to be a CCNY alumna and hope that one day I can give back more and help our college and students. Thank you so much and have a great evening.
I'm nervous. Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Akasha Solis, and I'm a soon-to-be double graduate from the City College of New York, hopefully. I am from the Bronx, raised in Westchester, and right after high school, I thought it'd be a great idea to move as far from Yonkers as I could by going to Penn State. Funnily enough, in less than a year, I realized with the lack of diversity and excitement in a city, I might have made the wrong choice and missed New York City almost immediately. It wasn't until I met the late Colin Powell, who said to me and my mom, "Why don't you come to my school?" that I realized that there might be a place for me where I'd feel like I really belonged. I transferred to what was then the brand new Colin Powell School and majored in international studies and political science with a minor in women's studies. I'm now finishing my last semester at the Branding and Integrated Communications Master's Program. Thank you. And one consistent theme I've realized while being a CCNY student is that this school truly supports you in facing hard truths about yourself. Whether this is done with the support of faculty or staff, or even through the lifelong friends you make at this institution who remain right by your side through every success and every challenge. Through City College, I've truly discovered who I am while learning to love myself and challenge myself to grow in ways I didn't think possible. I've had the privilege of being able to previously work as the program manager for the Colin Powell School's Office of Fellowships for about 5 years, and I'm now grateful to continue my work as an outdoor partnerships manager through the Appalachian Mountain Club and in partnership with the Office of the President. My love letter to CCNY is eternal, as it has given me some of the best friends I could ever ask for, a fantastic education, and the chance to transform into somebody I'm truly proud of. Thank you so much.
Sorry, I went into a food coma there for a minute. Hope everybody enjoyed their dinner, their musical entertainment, their love letters. During his extended career, noted engineer, researcher, and developer, Seymour Moskowitz has focused on technological solutions to address critical national issues. During the Cold War, he designed and developed technology for operating turbines at very high temperatures to power advanced military aircraft during the Middle East oil embargo. He developed clean technology for burning high sulfur coal and turbine electric power systems that would meet emission standards. And following 9/11, he managed the development of a mobile system to rapidly detect chemical, biological terrorism threats. He's the holder of 7 patents. C graduated from CCNY School of Technology in 1954 and quickly joined Curtiss-Wright Corporation. That's an aerospace engineering company where he made his mark in the field of aero propulsion systems. He then brought his extensive technological and management experience to Vitro Corporation, a systems engineering and integration company. And then from there, Sid and his business partner teamed up with a private equity firm to acquire Antion International Corp., a company providing mission-critical information technology services to all federal agencies. Antion grew more than tenfold during C's tenure. Then, there's more. He co-founded and became president of Covant Management, a company that acquires and manages portfolio companies specializing in counterterrorism technology in support of the Department of Defense, Homeland Security, and intelligence agencies. C, as mentor and humanist, has been a big-hearted supporter of City College. He generously donated a gas turbine engine to the Mechanical Engineering Lab and endowed undergraduate scholarships in mechanical and biomedical engineering, as well as a doctoral fellowship in biomedical engineering. His generosity and wise counsel has been recognized by the Alumni Association with the Townsend Harris Medal and by the Grove School on its Wall of Honor. He received an honorary doctorate in recognition of his lifetime achievements from City College in 2018. He is married to Pearl Moskowitz, who co-designed the MTM grant with her husband. Pearl Moskowitz is actively involved in civic activities and was the first woman elected to the City Council in Fort Lee in New Jersey. She's a committed collector of Japanese woodblock prints and was trained docent at the National Museum of Asian Art in Washington, D.C. Recently, the Smithsonian announced the establishment of the Pearl and Seymour Moskowitz collection of Japanese prints at the National Museum of Asian Art. Now, we're sorry that C and Pearl are unable to be with us tonight, but accepting on their behalf are Abe Bensamin and Mick Fusco. Please come up. This is the President's Leadership Award, again presented to Seymour, class of 1954, and Pearl Moskowitz in recognition of your continued and enthusiastic support of innovation and excellence at the City College of New York.
upside down. Thank you, Chris, for those kind remarks, and thank you, President Boudreau, for this wonderful honor. Thank you. Maybe I'll just thank you. There's actually a teleprompter here, but it's not moving. So I'm going to use my glasses. Seymour is on the mend after a fall, so it's really too bad that Pearl and Seymour weren't able to attend. However, they are here in spirit in this anniversary celebration and are touched to be honored here tonight for their contributions to CCNY. Also, there is a live link, and I know they are watching right now. Pearl and Seymour I've known my entire life. Pearl was my mom's BFF, a childhood friend, where they grew up in Borough Park, Brooklyn, and forged a lifelong bond of sisterhood. When Seymour and Pearl were married, and that was the year I was born, my father and Seymour became best friends too. Pearl and C were always a big part of my life. So they asked me to accept the award, and it really means a lot to me to be with you tonight. Pearl and C are special in so many ways. They are driven by strongly held core values and passion, and that produced a meaningful life joint experience hallmarked by intellectual growth, appreciation of the arts, world travel, and close friendships from all walks of life. The partner journey sharpened their understanding of the world and what mattered most to them. So, when C's business ventures, as Chris mentioned, really did extremely well, and that was only in retirement, C and Pearl met the moment and ramped up their charitable giving with impact, creativity, and vision to make the world a better place. The centerpiece of C and Pearl's giving is, of course, CCNY, the educational institution that gave C his start in life. C has lifetime memories of CCNY's dedicated faculty who went beyond the textbook to imbue C not just with the requisite knowledge of a mechanical engineering degree, but the softer people skills that emphasize integrity, self-knowledge, and the role of psychology in successful project outcomes. What's this about these pieces of paper? That's one. C credits the collegial and highly spirited CCNY environment for a well-rounded foundation that launched his successful and influential career. So, when serious money came C and Pearl's way, how lucky were they to be in this great position to give back to the school, broaden the college's educational offerings, and help ensure the continued success of this venerable institution. Another avenue of C and Pearl's partnered support of CCNY is their commitment to annual scholarship donations. What a beautiful thing, and surely a feel-good for the Moskowitzes to generate a stream of CCNY's past, soon-to-be, and future graduates who might not otherwise been able to afford the cost of 4 or 5 years of undergraduate education. C and Pearl are dramatically impacting lives. Just as C, 68 years ago, these eager and deserving students are creating their own successful CCNY experience. Besides the feel-good that comes with helping others, the choice to fund this program in the first place reflects Pearl and C's fiercely held view that diversity in the ranks of society's most educated is a critical ingredient to meet humanity's near-term and considerable long-term challenges. This core value is what drives the Moskowitz's scholarship program and helps CCNY graduate well-educated, effective, and unique contributors to society. To wrap up my remarks, and thank you very much for listening, C and Pearl's CCNY legacy donations, of course, are great for the school. But in truth, the donations benefit them more. C is filled with ever more pride to be a graduate of this great institution with its phalanx of great professors and new programs, moving mountains to inject diversity into the most influential educated ranks in the country. This great American couple are singularly gifted in vision and excellence of execution that has resulted in 2 well-lived lives. Now, at this stage, with all they have learned over a lifetime, and knowing what's most important, Seymour and Pearl Moskowitz are devoting their financial resources to make their own lives more meaningful. I am proud of them, and I love them. I love you, Pearl and C. Thank you.
And she cleans up, too. Look at that. Wow. I thought that was supposed to be my job. One more round of applause for the Moskowitz, please. All right, I'm pleased to welcome Bozo Rivers and Lloyd Williams to the stage. They'll be accepting the President's Leadership Award on behalf of the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce. So they can come on up. Little background. Bozo Rivers serves as the first vice president of the GHCC and co-founder, vice chairman, and executive producer of Harlem Week. That's a month-long celebration of the community's economic, political, and cultural history. He is also the executive producer and founding member of the New Heritage Theater Group, chairman and co-founder of the Harlem Arts Alliance, as well as Grammy-nominated and award-winning producer of theater, film, music, and live events. Lloyd Williams is the president and CEO of the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce, as well as the chairman and co-founder of LMR Productions. It's a New York-based urban marketing, research, and special events production company. He is, with Voza, the chairman and co-founder of Harlem Week, as well as the president of the Greater Harlem Housing Development Corporation. Mr. Williams is a member of the CCNY President's Executive Advisory Board and was educated at Syracuse and Stanford universities. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Rivers and Mr. Williams for the President's Leadership Award.
Good evening. I will give the remarks on behalf of the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce. First, the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce is this year honored to serve the city of New York for 125 years. This is our 125th anniversary. And what is key to me is that I, as the person who has been honored to have been elected president and CEO of the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce, realizes that I do nothing without my fellow board members. So I'm going to take brief time to ask every one of them to come up, because we are nothing without them. You have met Boza Rivers. I'm asking Judge Tingling to join us, please. Please come up, please. I'm asking Irene Gandy to also join us, please. And if you don't mind, let me just point out some of our board members. It shows you who we are and what we represent. Let me, if you don't mind, start with the ladies first. Miss Irene Gandy, just wave. Irene Gandy is the, unfortunately, still the only black woman publicist on Broadway. Unfortunately, because there's only one, but she has won 2 Tony Awards. So, Irene, let me introduce to you Miss Betty Park. Miss Betty Park is the owner of a number of restaurants and eateries in New York under the brand Manners. Betty Park. One of the most unique locations in New York City is this fabulous place called the Brownstone. And the Brownstone, the founder and owner is Princess Jenkins. And then let me go to the end, the person we call the Magic Man, Mr. Winston Majetti, our executive director. Mr. Louis Katsos, my brother, Mr. Louis Katsos, the head of Jackmar Associates, one of the greatest developers in the entire world. He does it in Asia, and he does it in Europe, and just came back from Tampa doing another development, etc. Louis Katsos. The subject of technology and bridging the digital divide, which is so important to our community and similar communities, person who leads that is Mr. Clayton Banks, the head of Silicon Harlem. Okay. The chairperson of our legal committee, one of the most brilliant attorneys in New York and beyond, Mr. Richard Taffet. This distinguished gentleman, I don't remember his name, but I understand he has something to do with City College of New York. I cannot tell you how much respect, regard, love, and appreciation I have for Dr. Vincent Boudreau. And my brother here, we met about 60 years ago as Cub Scouts at a church in Harlem called St. Martin's Church. I don't tell people too often that he got me kicked out of the Cub Scouts, but this is Mr. Boza Rivers. And let me just close by saying a few things. The motto of the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce speaks to who we are. The motto that we've heard, of course, with business, organizations is the business of business is business. But with the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce, our motto is that the business of business is people. And that's what we focus on, people, as opposed to exclusively business. I want to also mention that each year the Chamber takes on specific focus. And this year we are going to focus on the subject of climate change and the disproportionate negative impact on communities of color, whether that is in America, whether that's in New York, whether that's in the Caribbean, and my brother from Barbados, congratulations, whether that is in Asia. When we look at climate change and we think about Katrina in New Orleans, when we think about Ida more recently in New York, we oftentimes overlook the fact that it's disproportionately communities of color. And so we're focused on that this year. And let me then close with this. I want to recognize our counsel, Cleston Lord and his wife Tracy. I want to recognize Greg Hull and his wife Linda, John Graham, all from WIN, the West Harlem Innovation Network, one of our board members who came from Chicago to be with us, Michael Sutton. I want to recognize Dee Dee Mazuleski because she is the bomb, okay? Dee Dee is incredible, and I want to recognize her. Oftentimes there's history around you. There is a gentleman who served in the U.S. Congress for over 40 years, who chaired the most powerful committee in Congress, the U.S. Committee on Ways and Means. He is known by those of us close as the Lion of Lenox Avenue. He has created rules and regulations that have benefited entire nations as well as our country. The Honorable Charles B. Rangel. I want to thank you, Congressman Rangel, because you always encourage, you always direct, you always support, and we have this greatest love for you. And let me then close by mentioning a gentleman who today introduced me to his 3 sisters. And that was important to me because I've been hearing about them for years now. His 3 sisters. A few years ago, under the leadership of Congressman Rangel, he said, I want you to work with the new president of the City College of New York, Vincent Boudreau. I can only tell you that there are few people I've met in my life, and I've met a lot of great people. I've been honored to have Malcolm X as my godfather. I've been honored to have Percy Sutton as my mentor. I've been honored to be able to be with Harry Belafonte and Nelson Mandela and Fidel Castro, so many people that have come across my life. One of the greatest persons I've ever met happens to be the president of the City College of New York, Dr. Vincent Boudreau. And I close because the night is long and I don't want to take more time, but do me a favor and support the City College of New York. Do me a favor and encourage Vincent Boudreau Most of my conversations with Vincent Boudreau comes about at 11:30 at night, and I just call to say, how was your day? I can sometimes feel the pressures upon him and say, I know you're stretched out right now. This man does so much, gives so much, and cares so much. So thank you for honoring the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce. Just recognize that any way that we can do anything to be supportive of your mission, please call on us, and we'd be honored to be a part of whatever it is that you're trying to do. I close by 4 points. Percy Sutton, some of you know the name. I won't spend a lot of time on who this magnificent person is and was. He said to me something that I want to leave with you. He said to me one day, I was asking him, Mr. Sutton, why is such and such and such? And he would always take the time. And what he said to me, Lloyd, and this applies to every one of you here tonight, he says, you know, if you understand what you have in common, you will become communal. So each of us have something in common because we're here tonight. We are going to become communal because we're talking to each other. But he said, if you remember what you have in common, you become communal. If you become communal, you start communicating. And if you communicate, you will then have a community. And so the foundation, common, communal, communication, and community is what we need to do for City College of New York. I thank you all. I hope everyone has a great night. My closing remarks is to acknowledge the most important person in my life, a person who you talk about loving someone who I adore, I admire, and I honor, and that is my wife, Valerie. Valerie, thank you for everything that you do for me.
I knew he was smart, but now I really know he was smart. Never forget the better half. I think we just felt and heard the heartbeat of Harlem. Excellent job, guys. All right, we have a little special treat coming up. American politician and statesman, distinguished alumnus of City College, diplomat, United States Army officer, who served as the United States 65th Secretary of State. I want to bring your attention to your screens here and a special tribute to the one and only Colin Powell.
I'm Linda Powell. I am chair of the board of the Colin Powell School for Civic and Global Leadership here at City College. My father, Colin Powell, was born in Harlem, raised in the South Bronx. He went on to become National Security Advisor, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Secretary of State. But I have to say, having served with him on the board at City and watching the Colin Powell School grow and expand, I know for a fact that the legacy that he's left here was as important to him as any other achievement he had in his life.
This is a very happy and a proud day for me to be here at this commencement exercise. My school, Colin Powell School of Global and Civic Leadership.
He connected himself, he associated himself with the mission of the school. Time and time again, he said, I looked at these students and I saw myself. And when Colin Powell says that about your students, it resonates. All of a sudden, other people out in the world were looking at City College students and saying, boy, these students have a future if only we invest in them a little bit. That's all he's doing.
Him coming back and affirming that what we're doing today is just like what it was for him back in the 1950s, it was a huge boost for all of us, I think, to realize that somebody who was as eminent as he was at the time and is, would want to invest himself back in his alma mater.
Just the name itself, when you go out into the world and you said, I'm a graduate of the Colin Powell School at City College, it sends another message to our communities.
You get a sense of General Colin Powell as a family man, not from him, but from the other members of his family.
At home, he was quiet. He liked to putter around the house and fiddle with, cars or watch old movies. But when he got out in the world, he became Colin Powell, At home, he was, dad.
I don't care what you think of me. I don't care what you think about my background or whether I'm black and white and yellow. You're going to have to beat me, as they say in basketball, in my face.
He's just like the guy you kind of saw in the news, honestly. Totally accessible, very friendly, and deeply devoted to the mission of this college.
When Linda spoke at the founding of the Colin Powell School, she talked about her work at the Colin Powell School being her turn to put her shoulder to the wheel.
It's important that everybody knows this is not just the Colin Powell School. It's the Colin Powell School of Civic and Global Leadership. It was important to my father. He was a civil servant, and at his core, he saw this country as one of the best things that ever happened to him. And he was dedicated to making sure that we provide opportunities for the new Americans in this country, provide opportunities for the underserved Americans in the city, and to uphold our ideals as a nation. And having Dad's name on the school makes me committed to it, and I hope that it also opens doors so that people who wouldn't be exposed to this otherwise will look at us and see what we're doing.
And we're not just investing in the kids, we're investing in our future. We're going to be a majority country in one more generation. And we have to make sure that they are ready to be the majority. We have to make sure they're ready to be the leaders of this great country of ours.
He taught me that the ambitions that we have for every student on this campus were as important as the ambitions that he had for his country.
General Powell was a mentor for me, and I think for a number of us who had the chance to work with him personally.
Everything we do is key to what General Powell said 10 years ago now, which is, I want a place where any student can feel welcome.
I learned what it was to be an even better listener as a leader, what it meant to care about the whole person, and what it meant to take seriously the role of a team.
He was a mentor, he was a friend, and he was somebody who I never stopped learning from, looking up to.
Where lots of places might build testaments to a person, General Powell wanted to build an educational system for students who were like him.
He did so much for all of us. Always wanted to give back, always wanted to encourage. That's a great legacy to leave.
Like any daughter, I see my father as someone I had to get over and get through and live my own life. But now that I'm whatever grown is, God, I appreciate my father. I appreciate all the gifts he gave me. I appreciate having the ability to just watch how he lived his life. And I especially appreciate the past 20 years, us having shared this together. He got to see me as a grown-up, and I got to see as a grown-up how he moved through the world, and to share a project with him was a gift.
Go forth and raise strong families remembering that all you can ever leave behind is your reputation, your good works, and the next generation of children for the nation. And let your dreams be your only limitation. Good luck, congratulations, and God bless you all.
Beautiful honor to a City College shining star, and I have a feeling his spirit and soul is in City College forever. I would agree with that, right? Okay, we're running late, so in the interest of time, I just want to say, friends, fellow graduates, tonight was really a joy and a pleasure, and I just found out that I don't have to work tomorrow morning, so this party's going to continue until at least midnight. Drinks are on me. I heard a really big laugh. Somebody knows I have short arms and deep pockets out there. What was that? City College has played, though, an important role in American history, and tonight really has been a tremendous success because of all of you as well. So you should give yourselves a round of applause, too. You're all part of this. But before we say goodnight, it is time to announce the winners of the raffle. And again, in the interest of time, we're not going to pick the raffles on stage. I believe the winning raffle tickets, there you are, for all of your 6 prizes are up on the board. Check the numbers, check your tickets, and the lucky winners are on your way out. Back at the raffle table, you will be able to pick up your winning prize. Do we have any winners? Somebody give me a sound, anybody? Up, I see you. Nice, congratulations. Congratulations. All right, once again for me, this was truly an honor, a pleasure. Hope you enjoyed. And again, this college continues to amaze me because from somebody that came here in the late 70s and early 80s to watch what it has grown into has been nothing but an inspiration. And every time I come back, I find out it's on a bigger and better path. So thanks for joining us tonight at the 16th Annual President's Gala and launch one of the most important initiatives that the college has done since its founding in my graduation year. So as we leave tonight, know that we will continue to do remarkable things together. CC? All right, you got it. Have a good night. Get home safe. Stay well, everybody.